Hey, happy Sunday to you. Hope you're having yourself a great day. I'm Eric, and you're watching Eric's Crypto Corner. I'm a tax accountant with over 17 years experience in that industry, and I've been in the crypto space for about 5 years, buying, selling, mining, and doing some AI stuff as of late. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. Okay, so I've had some people asking me, geesh, you talked about Bitcoin and wallets and taxing and all that other stuff, but I really want to start mining Bitcoin, which is one of my big passions. So what we're going to be talking about today is going to be one of these guys. I've got a Canon Avalon 3. We're going to kind of look at how to set it up, go through the steps of getting it powered up, configured, and off and mining. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so here we have the Canon, whatever, uh, Avalon Nano. So I ordered this from Amazon. If you get a better deal somewhere else, that's great. The reason I bought this particular miner in my experience has been I have run Avalon products before. And so they've kind of been in the Asic mining industry for quite a long time. So that was a big reason why I went with this one when it was released. So I'm not going to go through all the unboxing, but here's what the box looks like. So congrats there. And inside of the box, you're basically going to be getting the miner, which looks like this. And then you're also going to be getting a power supply. Okay, and the power supply should basically have a connection to your outlet and a connection to the miner. And you're going to notice one thing here, that the connection to the miner is actually like this little, USB-C port. So it's not getting a ton of power like a big monster ASIC machine would be getting. But let's just go ahead and take a look at this real quick. So what we've got is a couple of buttons. We've got the screen that displays everything, and then we've got a couple of filters here. Now, one thing I will say about these machines is that they get very, very hot. And so I would always, is it this one? Yeah, I would always take off. These just have little magnets on the side here. Just go ahead and take off. I don't even know what this does other than restrict airflow. Okay, there's no benefit to having this on the front here unless if you've got, I don't know, maybe a small rabbit or something that might try to get into this. But at the end of the day, this machine runs quite hot, and anything that we can do to bring that temperature down is a good thing. This machine does have 3 different settings. It has high, medium, and low. I do not run this on high ever. If you read the reviews on this particular model, running it on high will literally melt this thing. You will have problems in a very short amount of time. So my advice to running this is either on medium or on low. Now I run it on low all the time because I would like my machine to run me a long period of time versus burning it out quickly. So I'm actually just gonna find the outlet here. Here we go. It's on the back side, so we'll just go ahead and plug that guy in. And then I will plug it into an actual outlet. One thing I will recommend as well is that when you do run your ASIC machine, your Bitcoin miner, that you run the power supply on its side. And it'll kind of look like, let's see, like this. So you run it like this instead of like that. Okay, so I typically will run it sideways like this. Okay, and we can see that the Nano 3 is booting up here. And you can see that the screen is firing up. So what it says is, please connect to the Nano Wi-Fi. And you can actually see here it's got like a default IP address. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start setting this thing up on our phone. All right, so you can, it can still see that it says connect to the Heater Nano Wi-Fi. So I've just got my good old iPhone 8 Plus here for demonstration purposes. And we can come over here and click on the settings. And we're going to be looking for the Wi-Fi right here. And here we have the Heater Nano 31BC. Now yours might be different. I don't know if these are randomized things, but I'm just going to click on that. Okay, and you can see it's trying to actually connect to the Wi-Fi here. And while you have this running, actually, you're going to feel, now it's September here in Northeast Wisconsin, and it's still pretty warm. So it's like 70 something degrees outside. But, so you will feel this heat coming out. If it was like winter time, I probably wouldn't mind it so much. So now we're actually connected to this. Okay, so now let's see if we can find our IP address here. I think it was saying it on the screen here, the 192 blah, blah, blah. So we're going to come over to like a 192.168. And I'm just looking at the IP here, .168.168, go. Okay, so now what you got is you've got kind of this admin panel, and I think you can see that there. And the default to this is root, not Groot, root and root. And you can go ahead and click on login. Okay, and then once you click on that, you should be able to see that we're on this Wi-Fi, where it's basically saying, hey, select your Wi-Fi and then put in your password. So the device here is trying to scan all the Wi-Fi networks out there. So we're just going to pick your Wi-Fi. I'm just going to pick mine here. And I think this is my password. Now it says connecting. Please wait. Okay, now once you're connected, and for some weird reason, maybe it's my old phone, but I had to click on this blank button to connect to it. Now it says, okay, well now you can access your actual device at your IP address, and you'll actually see your IP address show up on your Avalon 3 as well, up on the top square there, okay? And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to switch over to my computer, because I feel using the app on your phone to set up your mining settings and all that is very clumsy. I don't like doing it, so we're going to switch over to the big computer then, okay? Okay, so you're basically going to be, I've just switched over to the computer here, and now that we've got everything kind of turned on and connected to the Wi-Fi, now our next step here is to get our pools configured. So this is really telling the miner, where do we want to mine to? So we can't just turn it on and have it run like crazy and whatever. The whole concept here is that you're going to be mining to a pool, a Bitcoin node or some other nodes out there that are going to allow you to earn Bitcoin. Okay, and we can go ahead and log in here, and we're going to kind of see the overview of what the admin panel looks like here. Now I've got this zoomed in a little bit. If you want to save your password, you definitely can. But the concept here is we've got just kind of a bunch of stuff on the left-hand side and kind of the status, of what's going on in the middle here. Now I've already got my system set up to be mining to CK pool. And, we can see that we've got 2 accepted shares, none rejected. And we've kind of got this little pie chart over here. It tells us how long, we've been connected. It tells you what your hash rate is. Now, these miners are supposed to, on low mode, mine about 2 terahash, medium's about 3, highs about 4. And as we discussed, I would not risk it for the biscuit, as it were, for a 4 terahash. I just wouldn't. I think that 2 or 3 terahash is totally fine. But when you log in, you're going to see, all these different things cooking. So we've got your address, your worker, which is just your wallet address, your accepted shares, how long you've been up. Your hash rate should increase as it's been going on. And then one of the big things for me to keep a look at is your miner temperature. Most ASICs do not run really well over like 70, 75 degrees centigrade. I like keeping mine cool. Now I've got it set to low mode right now, and all of our system settings are going to be underneath this configuration. So let's click on that one first after we're done with the overview. Okay, so first of all, we have all of our addresses here. Now I've got these pre-filled with my address and my wallet address and so on and so forth. You can go and find whatever pool you want to use to mine to. You really do have 2 different options. You can either solo mine, which is really what this machine is for. Being a 2, 3, 4 terahash machine, the odds of this ever earning you any money above and beyond what you're actually, spending in power is going to be pretty much nothing, unless if you're on solar or have your mom's power, or you live in a apartment or something and you have free power, which I don't know if anybody who's got free power in an apartment, but let's just say you did. Then you could basically mine to a regular pool that's going to pay you out, every couple of minutes. And really that's what this last one is here. Unmineable is a pool that you can mine to, and I'm actually getting paid out in Litecoin here, and this pays you out like literally once every day or two. So if you want to make this thing probably makes $5 to $10 a month in revenue, but costs you $20 a month in power, whatever the numbers are, you can go ahead and do that and find a pool that you like. Now, in order to find a pool that you want to mine to, we can take a look at that a little bit later, but these are just where you put your pools into and where you will put your wallet into. And at the very end of it, you can name your miner whatever you want. I'm just calling it an Avalon Nano 3 because that's what it is. Now you're going to see down here we've got our speed. Now airspeed is really the speed at which this thing is working. So we talked about this before. We got low, medium, and high. I have it on low. Okay, I've run it on low all the time, and you can even see even on low, it's at 80 degrees. Now it's a little warm today here in northeast Wisconsin, but that's pretty hot to me. Okay, so once you've got that all set up here, network is just where you would change your Wi-Fi, log, and system. Log is just going to show your logs. System, you can change your password. If you don't want that root, you can change it to something else. Okay, so that's where you do that. Upgrade would be as if you ever had any updates to the software. You can always check the Avalon website Canon's website, not Avalon, that's the actual product. Canon's website to see if there's any updates. I've not seen any, and I've had this thing for several months, probably 4-5 months I've had it. And you can upgrade the firmware there. Reboot will just reboot your computer or your miner, sorry, not your computer, anytime that you've got some changes. So anytime that you change your pool or your device speed, or even your Wi-Fi, you'd have to reboot it. And a reset factory is just going to reset it to default with the Wi-Fi stuff, which is what I just did in order to make this video. So obviously resetting the factory does not reset your pools, but it will reset the Wi-Fi for you. Okay, so that is pretty much, what we see going on here. And you can see my reject rate is kind of a little bit high there. You should really be like under I don't know, like 2%, 1% reject rate. Like it should be pretty small. So this should get better as time goes on. So we might have hit a little stumble there. But this should really be a very small percentage as time goes on. One thing I will also note here is that this ping, this network status, the millisecond status, this is kind of important. So when you're looking at your pools and you're deciding where you should mine to, you should find one that has a fast speed, especially if you're solo mining and not, pool mining with a bunch of other people. If you're solo mining on a pool, you want this number to be low. And we'll get into that in future videos. Now, CK pool is not terrible for a ping or a millisecond hit back, but if you have a very slow connection to the pool, this is going to turn into you not accepting shares. Okay, and that could be why some of my rejects are there, because maybe my internet kind of clunked out, while the shares were going back and forth, validating shares between my miner and the pool. And when you mine to your own node in your own pool, maybe in your house or whatever, this is normally like 5 to 10 milliseconds. Okay, this isn't a terrible number, but really to me this is kind of not awesome. It's not awesome, but it's not terrible. Okay, so you can see that we're on a website called Mining Pool Stats up here, and this is really where you can go, to find every single possible coin that you can, well, maybe not every single coin, but a lot of the big coins that you can mine with an Asic, are all located here. And so what this really shows you is when you click on Bitcoin, where can I mine to? And what we're looking at here is number one, what type of pool is it? Okay, so anyone that has this solo, you might see Via BTC has this solo. What else has this solo? Just looking down here. Okay, we see Mining Dutch, has solo. Mills Pool has solo. Public Pool.io has solo. Lucky Muncie are solo. So really, zsolo.bid, CK Pool is solo, which is the one we were just talking about that I mine to. So what you're looking for is any of these that have solo miners. That basically means that you are mining by yourself. You're mining to this, these pools. And if you find a Bitcoin block, you get all 3 of the Bitcoin rewards. It's like 3.125 at this time. So you get like, I don't know, $350,000 or thereabouts if you were to find that, that block and solve that equation for that particular block. Now the odds of that, I think for me, and I have like 6 terahash or something like that altogether, is like 1 in like 1,500 years. The chances of that are almost nothing. However, it's not zero. Okay, so it's not zero. Now, somebody had just found a Bitcoin block on the CK pool just recently here, and that person had only been mining for about 3 months, and they had about 200 terahash of power, which is not nothing. I mean, it's still way more than what I have, but it just goes to show, like, you don't have to have a whole lot of investment, into hardware in order to hit the lottery, as it were, because that's what this is. It's called lottery mining. When you're solo mining, you're lottery mining. You're hoping that you and your machine solve the block and that you are the one that gets paid out the big bucks and can sell that Bitcoin and pay off your house or go to Vegas or whatever you're going to do. Okay, now when we're looking at the other things here where it says PPS, PPLNS, these are the fees that they charge. And you can see the solo pool also has fees associated with it. But these pools, allow you to mine in a group, so pool mining really. And you can go ahead and share in the rewards, and you get a small chunk then, every couple of minutes or however often they're paid out. Okay. Now, one other thing that I want to show you on this website is, obviously, is how many miners, are connected to each one of these. So you can see oh, well, geez, there's, 17,000 miners on this one and 54,000 miners on this one, 37, whatever. And we've also got the total hash rate. Now, total hash rate, if you're a true, like, decentralized, I don't want to make Bitcoin centralized. I don't want one particular pool to be in complete control. This one is 25% of known hash rate. You're probably going to want to pick something that has a lot less. So if you're up here in the F2 pool, Vibe, BTC, AMP pool, and Foundry Digital, these three pools or four pools, make up, I don't know, what is that, 40, 50, 60% of the total hash rate. So you're probably going to want to support a pool that isn't, in these top pools for the sole reason of you don't want it to become centralized and you want to be aware of what's called a 51% attack. So I would probably be picking something further down the list. And you may play around with each one of these pools and see which ones you like best. Personally, I think Vibe BTC is okay. With my small miners, I can't really mine to an ANT pool of Foundry Digital. F2 pools way out in China, so that's a very low ping. It's a very big latency, so I'm not interested in that. Binance is out in China. And you can see these little flags say that they're based out of America. So I'm in Northeast Wisconsin. So obviously I would prefer, to mine somewhere closer to me. Okay. Now, let's just say we've decided to go with CK Pool, which is actually one of the more pure places that people like to mine when they are solo mining and lottery mining. If you choose a different pool, that's totally fine. But really what you do is you just click on it and it's going to give you instructions on how to set up your pool and your miner. So all you're really doing is saying, okay, well, point to this. All right. So all you're really going to do is copy this. You're going to go back over, to your Avalon device, and you're going to go ahead and just put that in. Now, you do need on this particular machine the Stratum plus TCP blah 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 ahead of it, and then you're just going to copy and paste that in there. You're going to find your Bitcoin wallet address, okay, which is this for me. It ends with like WYCF, and if you want to send me money, feel free. But at any rate, you're going to put in your Bitcoin wallet address and dot, whatever worker name. You can call it whatever you want. Some people name it like Marvel characters. Some people name it like Lucky, like Clover or Rainbow or whatever. Like, I don't know, blah, 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 whatever. Treasure chest or whatever. So you can call it whatever you want. And then once you've put this information in here, you click on save and you're going to click on reboot. And then your machine should fire up, just like this. Now look at how terrible, the speed is right now. Okay. But you're going to start watching this and you're going to watch this, and I'm actually going to reboot it just for fun right here. Let's go ahead and click on reboot. Okay. So this is going to take 20 seconds to reboot. 13, 12. Now it's a good time to get a water break or whatever. All right, now we can log back in. Root. And the root. All right, we've been up for 2 seconds, yay! And we're gonna see that, we're just gonna watch this slowly together. So this might be kind of a little, excuse me, a little painstaking to watch here. But I just want you to kind of get the idea of how this thing cycles up. That it does take a little while, to get going. Sometimes it takes a minute or two, has been my experience. And one other thing that I'll note, and you can see now we got a little tiny something cooking here, and we got one share accepted. One thing I will say is that I do put a fan behind or in front of all of my Asic miners. And so if you've ever watched any of my other videos where I'm actually in the basement and doing some stuff in the basement with my little Asic miners or my AI machines or whatever, I do have a little fan there. I feel it is very important to ventilate this hardware. You spend money on the hardware. This was, I don't know, I want to say 200, how much is it? Okay, so when I ordered mine back in April, so I just looked on my Amazon order, And I had ordered mine for about $245. After sales tax, it was like $255 or something like that. Now you can buy them for about $210 to $220. So they have come down, in price a little bit, which is good. But the whole point is that I don't want to nuke, my $200 investment, and I don't mind spending, an extra few dollars a month with a little fan, pointing behind it. Because when I have my fan going on this thing, it's normally in the lower 70s, upper 60s. To me right now it's running hot. I don't like that. And so we're going to be putting this back downstairs when I'm done with this video here. All right, so the very last step in any kind of miner setup is going to be to make sure that the pool is also recognizing, your miner. Now, we've confirmed that our miner is powered up, it's mining, it's accepting shares, everything else like that. But over at CK Pool, we have this little graphical statistics, which to me is really kind of cool. So what we do is we just click on visit this for graphical statistics. Okay, and this really shows like everything going on, with the whole pool. So you can see a bunch of cool stuff here. Who the top, miners are. I'm nowhere near the top, obviously. A lot of these people are big farms even that solo mine. But what we're going to do is we're going to, right at the top right, we're just going to put in our Bitcoin address. Well, and go grab that. Okay, and then do search. And what this is going to do is bring up your own personalized Bitcoin address history. And so what we have here is it's going to give you a worker count, when you started mining, when you've submitted a share, how many total share you've done, your best share in the current session, which I think is a week on this particular pool, the best share ever that you've submitted, your 5 minute, 1 hour, 1 day, 7 day hash rate. And what's really cool about CK Pool is they even tell you, hey, you have a 0.028% chance, of hitting it big in a year. This is my chance per day, per week, whatever. And we actually have some graphical statistics down here. And we can see I have my Nano 3 right here. That is the 1 day hash rate, best share in the session, best ever, which is also in the session, which is kind of funny that I've hit the best share on this thing just recently, which is pretty cool. But we can see I also have a Nano 3S. Now this one I've been running on this pool for a long time, and you can see the best share ever was 218 gig of difficulty, which is really neat. I've had some other things running on it. I do have a Lucky Miner 07 downstairs. I do have a BitAxe, this one downstairs running on some other pools. So this Pleb Source one actually burnt out and started on fire on me. So that one I returned to Amazon within my 30-day window. It was like 29 days or whatever. Needless to say, all your workers are going to be down at the bottom, and it's going to give you an individualized breakout. And up here, you're going to get your total breakout. And you can even see that since we just started this miner, how our hash rate is kind of graphically gone up here. So just make sure that the pool is recording your shares just like your admin panel of your miner is. All right, so as you can see here, other side here, you can, right there. You can see that I still have the little Avalon Nano 3 running. I find these machines are affordable places to get into Bitcoin mining, whether you want to pool mine or solo mine with a lottery mining kind of component to it. But no matter what, it's a great way for you to get into Bitcoin mining without having to spend a ton of money. Most miners that I got that were, industrial grade back in the day were in this, $7,000 to like $12,000 amount back in 2021, I think it was, when we started buying these things. So this really allows the individual at home to more or less support the network, number one. Number two, if you're lottery mining, who knows? Maybe you'll hit it big and get $300,000 worth of Bitcoin and be able to do something really nice with that. All right, so if this video helped you in any way, setting up your Bitcoin miner, whether it's a Nano 3 or Nano 3S, or even a BitX or Lucky Miner. All those have some very similar setups. Feel free to click the like button below. If you have questions about how to set anything up, or maybe I missed something, go ahead and comment right down below. So as usual, this is not financial advice. I don't need you going out and buying $10,000 of these miners in hope of hitting it big. And it's just for educational purposes. So thank you very much for stopping by today. And until next time, peace.